God!
A kick out!
What the hell is this? Oh, God!
Oh my! Push! Canceler!
Unbelievable!
Has been an absolutely brutal display.
Oh, my God!
That was freaking insane!
Make yourself famous!
Talk about a high-risk maneuver.
What?
The new champion!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the UCT Live podcast, hosted by the one and only, the Wigman, Max Mercury. And today I am reviewing MWE Pandemonium Episode 7. Yes, Episode 7, the go-home show for MWE Redemption. I'm going to keep getting the M and W's mixed up. But we'll see how this goes. So let me see. Let's get this ready. Got to get my script ready. Okay. So we start off the show with a Jester D promo, and where Jester D is coming out furious as all hell, coming from the last episode, which he has no words for Albert's weird promo from the last episode, and is ready to end his career at Redemption. Albert then responds on the Titantron with an offer to spice things up with his Pick Your Poison match. Hopefully, with an offer to spice things up with a Pick Your Poison match. Ooh, these scripts. Where if Jester beats the opponent of Albert's choice, then Jester gets to add an extra stipulation to the match. We then go straight into that Pick Your Poison match, where Jester D defeats Albert Williams' nephew, Andy Williams. Andy's already been getting enough traction from the fan base for ironic or justified reasons. But after the match, Jester D aggressively kicks Andy's ass while he's down and screams to Albert that his days are numbered and that he'll finish him for good at Redemption. Albert laughs it off and says he hopes Jester picks an interesting stipulation. So this was an enjoyable segment. Good promo, good back and forth between Jester and Albert. I did like seeing Jester's state of fury that he was in, because at this point he's done with Albert's shit. So I'm very excited to see the culmination of this long feud that's been going on ever since Albert became Mr. Money in the Bank, way back when. So yeah, I'm happy to see where it goes. Next, we have a backstage segment between Cody Savior, where he's in General Manager Chris Jericho's office, where he kind of complains, well, not kind of, but he complains about not getting any opportunities while some gibbers are stealing all the spotlight. Cody starts throwing around some threats, so Jericho kind of gets pissed off and gives Cody a match for a chance to be in the Golden Chance ladder match, saying he's had enough shit to deal with, and, Cody's just lucky he isn't getting fired. He yells at Cody to leave his office, and Jericho calls him stupid idiot to close out the segment. More thoughts on that when we get to the match. Next, out comes Matt KO, where they come out for a promo and call out the retaliation. They call out the retaliation for another title shot. Mattel makes a joke about how Mr. Hexagon called them both old, even though they're not that old, but just had to reference it, for breath's sake. But as Mateo's kind of calling out for another title shot, Anto interrupts Mateo, saying that before they can get those tag titles, they got to deal with Mr. Hexagon first, or else he'll just cheat to help the champions retain again. Mateo agrees, and they plan to kick Mr. Hexagon's ass, and then they plan to kick Mr. Hexagon's ass and unmask him. Mr. Hexagon and the Retaliation show up on the Titantron, where Hexagon calls Matt KO cowards for attacking them in the last episode. Hexagon denies them a title shot because they've already lost so many times. I always get lost in the script sometimes, sorry. But if they want another one, they're going to need to earn it. So Hexagon then lays the offer to face Anto 1v1, since it would be a dream of his ever since he first laid his eyes on him. Anto notices something familiar in Hexagon's voice, but agrees to the challenge only if the rest of the Retaliation are banned from ringside. Hexagon agrees, stating that he will finally beat Anto clean at last. So my intrigue for this segment grew exponentially once Mr. Hexagon started talking and we started getting hints about his identity. Because to me, I'm just gonna say it. I think it's me. That last line for sure about beating Antho clean. Who else has fought and who's been wanting to beat Antho clean for the longest time? It's this guy. So I'm very excited to see if it is me or maybe it's somebody else entirely. Um, but yeah, my intrigue in this feud has gone up with the inclusion of Mr. Hexagon, and I'm glad that we're not getting an instant rematch for the tag titles because Mr. Hexagon is right. Anto and Mateo have lost all of their matches so far. I would get into my predictions for Redemption, but that's going to be a separate podcast episode, so I'll save it for then. But yeah, I love this segment, and honestly, all the promos so far have been pretty great. So let's see. Moving on, we go to the match between Cody Savior and a mystery opponent for a spot in the Golden Chance ladder match. Cody is quick to call out his opponent so he could win already and was ultra confident that he would win. Once his opponent, Damian Trey, came out, who is a rookie. Cody kind of just demeans Damian throughout the match, just like saying, "You're a rookie, you're nothing, I'm going to beat you easily." But Damian ends up getting the win. And, Damian earns the spot in his debut match to be in the Golden Chance ladder match. There was a good payoff to the segment earlier. I will say I did like that it gave Cody Savior a bit more character since he hasn't really been given that throughout his entire run in MWE. But I like the match, and I do like the new call, Damon Trey. I think he has very much a lot of potential, especially considering since he's in the Golden Chance ladder match and is honestly probably he has a good pick for sure out of the the other four contestants that are in the match. But we'll see what happens at Redemption. Moving on, we then cut backstage between Jacob Steele and Silverdust, who are discussing the planned stipulation for Steele's title match against DJ Hero at Redemption. Steele is unsure about the stipulation, but Silverdust reassures him that with Steele's help tonight and Silver's help at Redemption, everything will be just fine. So I'll get more into that when we get to the Silverdust DJ Hero match. After that, we cut to another backstage promo. I know a lot of backstage promos, but you know what? It's the go home show. You got to save all the big action for the CPV. So yeah, we cut to another backstage promo with just Rocher, talking straight to the NWE universe. Rocher talks about how he's sick of the company, but knows that Doggy Dog, his brother, will stand in his way of getting his release. Thus, Rocher makes the offer to Doggy Dog for a 1v1 at Redemption. If Doggy wins, Rocher stays in the company as his tag partner. But if Rocher wins, both he and Doggy are gone from NWE. Not sure how to feel about Rocher just wanting to leave NWE all of a sudden. I think maybe it's because of how he's grown tired of his brother or his treatment in the company, considering he was in the tag division but never really got to win the titles. And then he was hardcore champion, but then he was stripped of the belt. So I guess in that retrospect, it makes sense why he feels like he's being disrespected in the company and wants to leave. And then Doggy's motivations make sense as well because, it's his little brother. He wants to keep him in the company. He wants to make sure he's happy and thinks that, they have great potential as a tag team. But yeah, I like the segment. Probably not as much as others, but good out of the way. So now we cut back to the ring for the Silverdust versus DJ Hero, where the winner gets to decide the stipulation between DJ Hero and Jacob Steele at Redemption. Silverdust ends up getting the win by DQ with Eddie Guerrero tactics by following a distraction by Jacob Steele, where he grabs the chair, smacks it on the ground, throws it to DJ, and then lies dead on the floor. And then because of the ref, he believes it, and then he calls DQ. The two relish in their victory on the stage as Silverdust announces the stipulation for Steele and DJ's title match, where the loser does not get to compete for the title ever again. This pisses DJ off to no end, basically threatening Silverdust's life as we cut to the next segment. So I thought this was a very interesting segment, and it does add more stakes to the DJ Steele match. I did like how this all played out because it saves DJ from losing clean and also gives Silverdust a win, and it all led to the stipulation. So 2 thumbs up there. Yeah, no, nothing wrong with it. So Yeah, moving on. We have another promo where Adrian Destiny comes out next with the Gold Warrior Championship, talking about how good the title looks around his waist and how Johnny basically left him no choice. Adrian blames Johnny for destroying Destiny Path and credits himself for all of Johnny's success in MWE. Adrian then tells Johnny to take the title back from him at Redemption with the title on the line. Johnny then rushes in, and the two get in a brawl, with Adrian winning the confrontation. And he just restates, like, if you want the title back, you know my offer. So this was a good segment to basically cap off the build to this feud. Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a great match, as Adrian and Johnny are both really good competitors, really good performers. So I can already tell their match is gonna be top tier. I will say the Golden Warrior Championship has not really gotten that much relevancy lately, to be honest, because with Johnny as a double champ, he was kind of busy with the tag title scene more than his Gold Warrior Championship. And at least in season two, I think maybe besides maybe a defense, like hasn't been getting that much attention. But to be honest, I guess it was all part of this build to a much bigger defense between Johnny and Adrian. I assume I am not part of this at all, considering I was in Destiny Path, but it's whatever. After this, we have another promo. I'm joking about sounding tired of it, but like I said, I'm just joking. But next, Mike House comes out for a promo and talks about how he made a suggestion to the Darkstorm that if he can beat Joey at Redemption, then Mike gets a world title shot. Mike talks about his reasoning was that this is the biggest chance that he's had ever since coming to NWE, considering he's been losing a lot. He talks about how he doesn't want to take down a fucking whiny kid, in Mike's own words, since he's a former multiple-time world champion and should just get the title shot like that. I wish that was a better snap. Joey Lanius comes out in response and basically tells Mike to not judge a book by his cover, and that after Mike said that Joey didn't look threatening enough to beat him. These two then have a back and forth exchange, insulting one another, and all about like, oh, don't underestimate me, or like, oh, don't underestimate me, before Joey then kicks him in the dick out of surprise and scampers away like the rascal he is, with Mike being like, "Oh, I'll get you." But this was a good segment, this. I don't want to say this is like a filler feud, because like I feel like the end game of all this is Joey versus Darkstorm. But in the meantime, we got to give Joey some wins to look like a credible contender, and Mike is a big enough name to give him that credibility. So, it the ends justify the means. So I'm good with it. Next, we have another backstage segment between Scorpion and Ron, as Scorpion kind of chastises Ron for being too focused about going to the club rather than winning matches. Ron thanks Scorpion for reminding him what's important and how he'll come back early from the club for his match, which annoys Scorpy, who yells at Ron to stop calling him that. After that, we have Ron versus Cam Jones earn the last spot in the Golden Chance ladder match. After the match, this was a really good match. Best match of the night for sure, out of like the maybe two matches on the card, but it was definitely the best match. Ron defeats Cam Jones, and after the match, he even shakes Cam's hand, and Scorpion comes out to celebrate with Ron. Then both Manny and Justice Edge come out to the ring to basically come face to face with Ron and Scorpion, seeing as though they're all going to be competing in the Golden Chance ladder match, and they all start to brawl with one another to build hype for the match. Then we have Damien coming out at the end to kind of remind these bitches not to forget about him and that they ain't ready for Trey. Okay, so I'm glad to see that Ron got the last spot in the match. It wouldn't make sense for just Scorpy to get the spot and not Ron. It would make sense the other way around for me, considering the whole reason for Scorpion teaming up with Ron is because of the fact that Scorpion has been having very bad luck lately. But yeah, I'm excited for the Golden Chance ladder match. I will say I'm not gonna give my prediction for who will win the match, but I will say who I don't think is gonna win, and I don't think it's gonna be Ron or Scorpion, because I feel like their whole thing should be in the tag division, and I feel like this Golden Chance ladder match is for a shot at the US belt. I think maybe I don't remember. Maher will probably remind me once this podcast is done. But yeah, this was a good match and a good segment. But yeah, that's all I got to say. And moving on to the final segment of the show is the contract signing between Albert Williams and Jester D. General Manager Chris Jericho introduces both men, first Albert and then Jester. Albert comes out first, acting like a dick as usual, with Jericho kind of barking back that if it weren't for the people who like him, whether it be the audience or the powers that be, that he would have been fired by now. Jester comes out angry as all hell and ready to kill Albert, but is stopped by Jericho. Albert urges Jericho to let them fight, but Jericho is just sick of it. Jester signs the contract, and Albert states his stipulation that their final showdown will have no interferences and no stoppages allowed, even by Jericho. Jericho is furious, considering he does not want to have a bloodbath for the finale of Redemption. I lost my place again. But however, even though Jericho's furious, he's not as angry as Jester is not as angry, and Jester kind of put the stop to it, saying that he agrees with the stipulation as long as it's not about his wife Dana. Jester then reveals his stipulation, saying that if Jester wins, then Albert is gone from the company, and just Albert. So Albert agrees to the stipulation and signs the contract. Albert then goes on a speech about how Jester is lucky to have a woman like Dana. Fucking sick. But Jester reiterates that he is lucky to have a woman like Dana beside him, in which he then gives the signal for Dana to come out and beat the holy hell out of Albert with a steel pipe. Dana then finishes him off. Dana then finishes him by calling him disgusting trash, giving him what he fucking deserves. Jester then closes out the show telling a fallen Albert that he'll see him at Redemption. So all in all, I thought this was a really good go home show. It really built up most of the feuds and most of the matches that are going to happen at Redemption. The only match I think the only match that didn't get any attention was Josh Silver versus Kevin Omega versus Brendan X, but that had its build on episode 6, so that's 100% fine. I'm very much looking forward to Redemption. I think it's going to be a great show. I guess another match that really didn't get that much attention was Dark Storm versus Chris Azure, but I guess that match could have used more build, considering like no one really thinks Chris Azure's gonna win, and I don't know. But every other match that was focused in this show really benefited from all the promo segments. So double thumbs up there. So I guess that's where I'll close it for this podcast episode. So thank you everyone for watching. Leave your feedback in the comment section below. There will be many more episodes soon to come. I guess I didn't upload an episode yesterday because I was still healing from the COVID booster shot. I'm doing much better. I took like a couple painkillers, but you gotta do what you gotta do to put out these episodes. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.